Hello, my name is Lebo, and this is my human cloning research project. Many important people have discussed human cloning. They have talked about how it helped out the entire world in new opportunities, and the advantages and disadvantages of the results of human cloning. Human cloning facts. Cloning is a genetic copy of an existing human. Cloning is producing identical copies of a human. Researchers have cloned many biological materials. No federal law on human cloning, and there's a psychological well-being impact on human cloning. Human cloning is the creation of a genetically identical copy of a human. The term is generally used to refer to an artificial human cloning, which is the reproduction of human cells and tissue. They have the same genetic makeup as the original. Researchers have cloned genes, cells, tissue, and even entire organisms such as animals. Several states, countries, and many international agreements formally prohibit human cloning because there is no federal law. On the psychological well-being side, there's an impact on human cloning. Cloned children are at most risk for their psychological well-being and could open the door to more powerful, inheritable genetic manipulation technologies. What is human cloning used for? Cells created are advancing research, STEM therapy advancements for regenerative medicine. Cells being produced for human cloning are extremely useful for research into the causes of diseases and as a model into drug discovery. There are special cells produced, SCNT or iPSCs, which could eventually be used in stem cell therapy or to create organs to be used in transplantation, known as regenerative medicine. Perfecting human cloning. Using cloning to understand causes of disease. U.S. technology is helping boost cloning in humans. Economic funding for human cloning is difficult. Medical and science world would advance with cloning. In 2019, the Koreans were the first people to clone human embryos. They said our goal was to not clone humans, but to understand the causes of disease. Our aspiration is to treat incurable diseases, is what the Koreans said. They delivered 30 blastocytes, and from these tried 20 times to produce a line of embryo stem cells. The success rate was not that high, but they ended up with one line of stem cells that worked and used those to clone embryos. The US are boosting technology to help cloning in America. Many states are trying different ways to help cloning become a thing. For example, in California, a group of scientists is promoting a proposed ballot initiative that would steer almost $3 billion into the field over the next 10 years. The economic benefits have been very difficult to the US. Most of the cloning stem cells researchers centers have closed. Scientists say one day that stem cells from embryos could be grown into new organ and tissues. Human cloning can create many new technology and cures for various diseases. The list of pros for human cloning could go on forever, but here are the important ones: infertility, organ replacement, genetic research selective, and human development. With all these pros, the future of the medical and science world would advance dramatically. The objection of human cloning. Results of human cloning causes concern. There are risks from human cloning, and human cloning could have positive effects on cancer and disease research. Many people don't like the idea of human cloning because of the results it might have on you, even if it does succeed. People call for banning human cloning research because cloning has few benefits to the science and medical field. This risk that could be done from human cloning are very bad. Cloning can cause minor to major defects in a person and mostly death. With these problems at risk, a lot of people and governments want to ban research on human cloning. Scientists, on the other hand, think cloning could open doors that haven't been explored yet. They could figure out how cells work and help battle cancer and diseases, and some say that you can duplicate embryos. In February, the United States Senate voted 54-42 against bringing an anti-cloning bill directly to the floor for a vote. During the debate, multiple scientists agreed that there should be a moratorium on the creation of human being by somatic nuclear transplants. Other countries' view on human cloning. Human cloning is restricted in many countries, but research continues. Britain's view on cloning, comparing human cloning to animal cloning, and China's view on cloning. In multiple countries, human cloning and human human cloning and research is illegal, but many scientists still study it. In Britain, there was an elite scientist team that studied animal cloning. The British leader of the research team that cloned Dolly the sheep said to outlaw cloning of the humans. He also said that he can't control that and that scientists could use the method of cloning humans. The British leader of the research team had no objection to the cloning of humans, but his statement on cloning was that it is very dangerous and to perfect it before any humans are tested. Many smart scientists have cloned animals and have done plenty of research to perfect the cloning of animals. They are also wanting to do research for humans. 2 Chinese scientists cloned 2 female macaques, and it was the first time animals were cloned using somatic nuclear transfer. Since they used somatic nuclear transfer to successfully clone the primates, they started doing somatic nuclear transfer research on humans. With the research, they figured out a cloning idea that could change the human cloning field. Human cloning possibilities. Human cloning is not impossible. Debates focus on manipulating human genome. Despite harm and abuse, research continues to be advocated. Vast amount of human cloning techniques, and human cloning still has a lot of unanswered questions. The possibility of human cloning is not impossible. We are not there yet, but in a few years we will be. President Clinton called for a ban of cloning and requested the NBAC to prepare a report evaluating technology and making recommendations. Debates of human cloning have been focused primarily on manipulating the human genome. Despite the potential for harm and abuse of cloning techniques, many scientists and politicians advocate containing cloning research. There are many human cloning techniques. For example, human cloning can be used to increase the ease and efficiency of germline gene therapy. In this process of human cloning, there could be several injuries. The muscles and tissue could tear, and it also says that humans should not be cloned. Because cloning is a form of asexual reproduction, many fears that the clone will not be treated as a valued individual, but rather as a possession of commodity. There are many questions that go along with human cloning, like it is beneficial or is it safe, and the answers are still unknown because the U.S. government won't allow human cloning to be legal. The most recent asked questions are should humans be cloned and will humans ever be cloned? The answer to this first question is all based on what the U.S. government includes. It could either be a no because it is too dangerous or yes because it's very beneficial. The answer to the second question is yes, humans will be cloned one day. Difficulties of human cloning. Human cloning has its own benefits and problems. Issues are dependence on types of cloning, therapeutic cloning, reproductive cloning, and monozygotic. Human cloning is not as simple as just replicating a person. There are various scientific obstacles that get in the way. In terms of science, human cloning has its own benefits and problems. There are many different types of cloning like therapeutic and reproductive. Therapeutic cloning is a production of embryonic stem cells for use in replacing or repairing damaged tissues or organs, achieved by transferring a diploid nucleus from a body cell into an egg whose nucleus has been removed. Reproductive cloning is defined as the deliberate production of genetically identical individuals. Each newly produced individual is a clone of the original. Monozygotic or twins are natural clones. These type of cloning are very important in what are the most scientists study. However, some of these positive features mentioned about human cloning are just a theory like rejuvenation and is not completely approved by all scientists. Conclusion of human cloning. Having discussed the many points of human cloning, there are still many more different things to know about cloning humans and or animals. People do not have the best of knowledge of how to clone humans, but at this moment in time, many scientists are working on perfecting human cloning to change the future. Thank you.